Santa will give you a lump of coal if you've been naughty, the mother reminded her son. On Christmas Day, she awoke to the sound of him choking on a lump of coal that had been lodged in his throat. Every year, Samantha demanded more presents. One Christmas morning, she awoke to find herself buried in presents, the weight of them steadily crushing her delicate young body. Santa Claus was so fat that he couldn't fit down the chimney at number 32. Before long, a group of kids was up on the rooftop and began relentlessly pelting him with sharp, heavy objects until he was no longer able to deliver presents to anyone. Disobedient Kyle was going to get more than just a single lump of coal from Santa. The giver of gifts was going to throw countless lumps at the miscreant so the message would really sink in. It was Christmas Eve, and young Andy was woken up by a sound coming from downstairs. He crept down the staircase and entered the living room, only to find Santa's crumpled body splayed across the fireplace, his head cracked open and blood soaking the carpet. All my son wanted for Christmas was a pony. I didn't buy it for him, but there was currently a green pony in our backyard eating the innards of our elderly neighbor. We got a white Christmas after all. Too bad that blinding white light also signaled our last Christmas. I'd moved 15 times over the course of the year and never told anyone where I'd be moving to. But on Christmas morning, I woke up to see the same candy-striped box sitting on my nightstand. Clara, being only 6, still believed in Santa Claus. So she wrote a revised Christmas wish list, laid it on her daddy's lap, and laid down between the still and stinky bodies of her parents to fall asleep before Santa got to their house. Christmas carolers used to bring so much Christmas cheer. But after the serial killer sent their note to the press, we all get a bit on edge when we hear someone start singing, "We wish you a Merry Christmas." The power's been out for a week and the water pipes froze. I don't know how much longer I can last in this winter wonderland. "I want you to carry a piece of your mother with you everywhere you go," Dad said as we unwrapped our Christmas presents that morning. Inside the bloody box, a chunk of raw meat lay on its side. "Dad, it's time for you to open up your Christmas presents," I said jokingly. My smile turned to horror as his urn levitated and flew towards the tree. My kids have been well behaved this year. For Christmas, they can each have an hour of sunlight. "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, one creature was stirring. But it was no mouse. It crept up the stairs and went to their beds and stole their small bodies away from their heads." My 5-year-old son threw his Christmas present against the wall and screamed that he had wanted a fucking PlayStation 5. We just stood there with our mouths hanging open, staring at the lifeless body of his newborn sister lying crumpled on the ground. "Mom, Santa Claus is coming! I can see him!" my daughter exclaimed from the window where she had been peering out into the dim, wintry evening. I nervously smiled at her and reached for my phone with trembling hands, as we were promised that nobody knew the location of this safe house. Christmas is my least favorite holiday because it reminds me that I'm alone. Halloween is my favorite holiday because it reminds me I'm never alone. Every Christmas, our mom insists on getting us all together for a family photo. But since my older brother got into drugs, I've started to hate it. Him being there really upsets my little sisters, and they're not even the ones who have to help bury him again every time. My family said I wasn't allowed to come to Christmas dinner even though I was clean for months. So I stole all their shit, got high, and set fire to their houses. It was only after the funerals that I heard they were planning to bring the food over to my house as a surprise to show how proud they were of me. Around 2 a.m. on Christmas Eve night, my 6-year-old daughter kept waking me up and saying how Santa was downstairs. As I groggily stumbled down the stairs to see what she was talking about, I came upon the grisly sight of a masked man in a Santa costume holding a bloody butcher's knife, stuffing what remained of our dog into a large gift box. "We have to wait until Christmas Eve to put baby Jesus in the manger, sweetheart," I reminded my daughter as she played with the doll at the kitchen table, sipping my coffee and feeling thankful that both of the kids had finally slept through the night. "Oh, I thought it looked too empty, so I put my baby brother in there last night," she replied absent-mindedly as the snow continued to fall on the nativity scene outside in our front yard. Sometimes it's nice to sit with your family at Christmas time and look at the decorations on the tree. But after my wife found out my little secret with my secretary, even my kids won't answer my pleas for help now. My mother comes to visit every year on Christmas. She kept the same tradition even after she died. I asked Santa for a little brother for Christmas, and I got one. Why are Mommy and Daddy freaking out and asking who he is and where he came from? I smiled to myself as I looked up at the beautiful lights on Christmas Eve. As my body finally hit the ground and I felt myself slip away, all I could see was the horrified faces of my children in the window. The kids rolled their eyes when I promised to try to make it home for Christmas dinner this year. That just gives me more motivation to break out of prison so that I can make them pay for getting me locked up. She smiled in relief at the realization that she didn't have to do any Christmas shopping this year. It was amazing how quickly that smile vanished once she remembered this was because anyone she would have given a present to was gone. I always wished I was an only child, even writing it on my Christmas list. But seeing my little brother's severed head in a Christmas box, I wish I hadn't made that wish. Every year for Christmas, I always ask for the same thing. But no matter how much I beg, He refuses to let me die. My daughter excitedly hopped onto my bed to tell me that Santa had come back. She was telling me she had let him in as I looked in horror to see a dirty homeless man covered in blood, standing at my bedroom door. Have yourself a merry little Christmas. It may be your last. It almost feels like Christmas, except I don't understand why it's so hot today. And why does it look like the sun is only getting brighter and brighter as the atmosphere revels in pure sunlight? I was getting out the old Christmas decorations from the loft, realizing I'd left a present up here meant for my kid last year. Shame. He really begged for that puppy. As I got everyone around me ready to take a magical Christmas picture, I snapped it with much glee and placed it right on the table. I always like to take pictures with the people I murder. I feel like it really drives the police to try harder to catch me. Ever since Dad got sober, Christmas was the most magical day, as he would dress as Santa and bring us our presents. But tonight, after hours of wait, the soot and the smell suddenly bursting from the fireplace left us no doubt that he had relapsed for the very last time. I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus by the Christmas tree. Wait, since when does Santa have hooves? Some people love that Christmas preparations start earlier and earlier every year. They might feel different if they knew that it was because Krampus was rousing from his sleep earlier and earlier every year.